Shall we start the session, ma'am?
Yeah. No issues. We can. It's 2 o'clock. Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am, a little bit low.
Okay.
Good afternoon to all. I welcome you all to the national level FTP on IPR, Entrepreneurship and Startups. Today we have an eminent person, Dr. Vasanthi Reena Williams, to share her knowledge with us. She is currently working as Professor, Department of MBA in Vidyavikas Institute of Engineering and Technology, Mysore, Karnataka. She has done her PhD in Knowledge Management. She has also been awarded Associate Reviewer by IJDS. She is also a member of several professional bodies and was a past chairperson of NIPM Mysore chapter. She is also a recipient of NIPM National HR Excellence Award as finalist under the category Best Management Education Leadership Award. She has presented and published several articles in journals and actively associated with several institutions as an invited resource person for delivering lectures. She is a research guide in management studies at VTU, Karnataka, and also JJT University, Rajasthan. With this small introduction, I invite Dr. Vasanthi Reena Williams to take over the session. Ma'am, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your kind introduction. I hope my voice is audible. Hello. Is my voice audible?
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
Hello.
Voice is very low, ma'am.
I think the fans are switched on in the room, and that could be the reason. Um, how is it now? Is it better now?
No, ma'am.
Hello. Still not better. Hello.
Ma'am, your voice is too low.
Hello. Is it better now? Hello. Is it better now?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. So, a very good afternoon to all the attendees of this session. And before I start the session, I take this opportunity to thank IOT Academy for having given me this opportunity. And I think most of you are aware today is the World Intellectual Property Day, and the theme for this year is IP and youth innovating for a better future. I think that's the right thing. But today is the World Intellectual Property Day, that is for sure. So in this session, based on the time allotted, the importance and significance of IPR intellectual property will be discussed. Because I understand that there are a lot of faculty from different streams. So I've taken a midpoint. And since this is a faculty development program, it is understood that all of the attendees are faculty members from various streams. And therefore, keeping this in mind, I'm deliberately focusing on the concept and advantages of IPR. Oh, see, we understand there's a lot of competition in every field, not only the education field, business always had competition. And you see that every company, every individual, every entrepreneur, he wishes to make his products or services very unique. And he highlights this presence in this world of business through being coming up with new concepts, new innovations. And he wants to be unique not only nationally but even globally, because the world is a small village now. So thanks to technology, but we see very commonly that the moment a new product is launched, immediately there are a set of competitors who come up with a new product or an even better version of the original product ready for sale. A very good example is Apple compute mobiles and Samsung. There was a case also recently that's different, but I'm just trying to relate these two. So Apple Incorporation takes all the pains to come up with a new, feature for their mobile handset, and within a week, this is copied by Samsung, and then they release it at a lesser cost. So just imagine if you have put in a lot of efforts to come up with a new product or service, and your neighbor copies it and starts making money out of your idea. How would you feel? See, that is the reason you would say we need some law, isn't it? So that's the reason IPR is here. So this is what IPR is all about. Intellectual property, that's the full form of IPR, is rights. Intellectual property is in fact a very generic term which defines an individual or a company's contribution to the country or to the world. So we can call it as an intangible asset because we can't touch it. We can only feel it, okay? As it is a knowledge of the person who has created the idea or invented a product, like creating a vaccine for COVID. I'm sure you're all aware, and we're following up on the news channels when the pandemic struck. So I will not elaborate on that. I'm keeping up the time. But after this session, I trust you will be able to relate to it. So let's go ahead. May I request the authorities to kindly put up the PPT?
Yeah, ma'am.
I will, in the PPT, I have just put in some images so that you will be able to relate to what I'm trying to tell you. I will take out my video. I think that will enhance the quality. Yeah, I hope I'm audible. Yeah, can you go to the next slide, please? And you can go to the presentation mode. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, like if you look at this slide, you will understand, you'll be able to understand that IPR can be either a trademark, a copyright, or a patent. Now, what is this trademark, copyright, and patent? A trademark is a design that helps to distinguish a product or service from a similar other product. Like, for example, Bata. The moment you see the word mentioned there, the way it is written, no, BATA, you will understand that it is a branded product, or it belongs to a particular company. Reliance, McDonald's, Godrej, Tata, Bajaj. There's so many, or Maruti, Suzuki. All these, you are able to identify that that design is called as a trademark. Okay. The second I told you is a copyright. Okay, a copyright is the right of an author. So, in case of a trademark, it is a design. A copyright is basically a creation. So it is like an author writing a book, or a a story, a film producer, a designer, a clothes design, jewelry design, a music composer. It could be a software also, or a website. All these things come under copyright. And the third I mentioned is a patent. So patent is basically a new innovation, a new idea, a new a product. Say for example, you must be watching the television advertisement where JK Tire has come up with a self-healing tire. That is, it doesn't get punctured. If even if it gets punctured, it heals by itself. So this is a new innovation. This is, so they would have taken a patent for that, so that when say MRF or any other tire company, they see that, they immediately, since they're manufacturer of tire, they'll immediately know what concept was used, but they cannot copy it for a particular period of time, since JK Tires would have taken a patent for it. Okay, so this is basically what we are talking about. IPR focuses on trademark, copyright, and patent. Can we go to the next slide, please? I put a few examples of trademark, patent, and copyright for better understanding. This in the next slide. Can you go to the next slide, please? Hello? Next slide, please. Hello? Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ma'am, I
Please
changed.
go. It's not changed. I don't find it changed on the screen.
Okay, I will change, ma'am. Just confirm.
Maybe because it's in the presentation mode, sometimes it's a problem. In that case, you can go to the regular mode and then you can change the slides easily. Probably you can go to escape. Just click escape and then you can change the slide using the arrow.
Ma'am, just confirm me, ma'am. I'm just
Yeah.
now. Ma'am, I went back and came in. Can you see the slide?
No, it's the same slide. There are no changes. I think you will have to go to just type
Okay.
escape, click escape.
But I can see, ma'am, it's changing. I think.
Is it okay? It's not visible to me, but if the others are able to see, then I can go. I'll just go ahead. Let me not waste time. I think I put up, but without saying I too cannot have it. Let me also open my slide. Okay, I think everybody can see the second slide. Here I put up a few examples of trademark, patent, and copyright for better understanding. I guess you're able to see it because on my screen, I see only the first slide. Yes.
Now,
No, I
will you
don't
check,
see
ma'am?
anything.
Is this? Can you see, ma'am?
No, I can't. I'm unable to see anything. No, but if the rest of
One second, ma'am. Ma'am? Ma'am? Dear participants, our resource person has some network issues. She will join in a few minutes. Let's wait for her. Ma'am, are you still there? We can't hear you, ma'am. No, ma'am, we can't hear you.
I think now I can hear.
Yeah, ma'am.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Okay.
We
Okay.
can.
I'll just go
Audible.
back to what I was, earlier mentioning. So I was just telling you, all, I'm so sorry for the technical glitches. I had shared the PPT, but somehow that could not happen, and I had to. Maybe there is a slow network problem. Anyways, let's not blame the internet and technology. Let's go ahead. When you're talking about IPR, we are talking about these three important things. That is a trademark, copyright, and a patent. Trademark is, I'm just going to the next slide. So I think you can see this. The one which you see in the first part corner is the trademark, and I think you are able to identify from them. You've seen Yahoo, Adidas, HP, Honda, Google. See these names, and if you and each has a meaning. Like if you look at Amazon, A and Z, you see that, right? So each one has a meaning. It has some significance for having that a particular name or the way it has been done. So a trademark is that design that distinguishes one product or a service from another, and a copyright is so you cannot copy that. If you see, if I look at say for example Coca-Cola, and I see it looks very nice and I use the same thing for my product, it means infringement. So a trademark needs an IPR. Similarly, a copyright, most of us would have seen on textbooks, and all of us are faculty members, so that's why I'm giving that example. When you look into any textbook, you would find on the first page that it is copyrighted. So that's the right that the author has for all the efforts that he or she has put into it. Similarly, for a designer, for a jewelry designer, costume designer, music composer, a film producer, all those things. And similarly, for a patent is for a new idea. And I gave an example of, I think, JK Tires, what I told you. So it comes up with some self-healing tires, which you would have seen on advertisement, which is there on all channels, coming up on all channels. You don't find any other tires with the same advertisement. That means JK has come up with this, and they would have taken a patent. So for few years, you cannot, even though you know what they have done, MRF knows what the JK has done, they cannot come up with the same tire. And in case they want to do it, they will have to take the permission or license from JK Tires, for which they'll be paying some royalty. Okay, and only then they can use. So this is it. Let me quickly go to the next, because I understand you have another session waiting for you. So now, as I was going through a lot of articles and details before last week, before I was preparing for the PPT and all that, I came across one report, and this is just on is a press release in the Indian Express on 21st April 2022. So just last week, which mentions that a Chinese film called Shang-Chi. So this director of this Shang-Chi movie, he has copied an entire sequence, an entire scene from a Hindi movie called Bajirao Mastani. So you must have heard about that movie. It was released in 2015. I just put in the poster there. I even went through that and saw that this whole scene looks very much similar to Bajirao Mastani. So, so what could it be? Let me just check and see. What could it be? Is it an infringement of patent, copyright, or trademark? You can just put it in the chat box. I know that you're following me. What is it? Is it an infringement of patent, copyright, or trademark? You can just message me. Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Your
Yeah,
voice
yeah.
is clear. They can text you.
Yeah. Can you just tell me whether copying of this entire sequence, the scene from Bajirao Mastani, which is an Indian movie released in 2015 by Chinese filmmaker director for the film Shang-Chi, would it be an infringement of a patent, copyright, or trademark? No answer. Okay, well, yeah, very good, Mr. Arun Gendran, you're very right. It is an infringement of copyright, as it is the creativity of the director. It's his scene, he has come up with that. So obviously, they're very right. Um, and I'm sure uh, by now you're aware of the need to have intellectual property protection. right? So now your mobile is safe with the password, so it is your laptop, so is your laptop, you have a password for that. Your house can be locked, your vehicle can be locked, all this can happen. However, that is why you're locking it, for safety purposes. Similarly, an intellectual property also needs to be safeguarded, otherwise somebody else will copy that. This It could be a patent, it could be a copyright or a trademark. But the problem is, unlike your gold and valuables, you can't keep it hidden. Otherwise, the patent, copyright, and trademark has no value, right? You have to show it to the world. So, to safeguard this, your invention or your creativity, what you require is an IPR right, intellectual property right. And this is done by registering your ideas and inventions in this platform. So it is not only about a product or service, but it could also be registered by a company or a country as well. Now, when it comes to a country, we call it as geographical indications. Geographical indications. Okay. So in India, indications registration is administered by the Geographical Indications of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999, but it came into force from 2003. So the first product in India to be, you'll be interested to know that the first product in India to be accorded with the GI tag, that is the Geographical Indications tag, was Darjeeling tea in the year, I think, 2005. But that was the first product, Darjeeling tea. And the others are like turmeric, neem, Warli painting, and even this drumstick leaves, all these. Um, I go to the next slide now. See, yeah, now here are, you can see the various types of intellectual property rights. You can see patent, copyright, and trademark, what I just explained to you. The others are design, database, trade secret, and plant breeders' rights. However, I just want to mention here that trade secret is not counted as an IPR as such, because it need not be registered. So as we go further, I shall just share the information on that. IPR is basically, what we understand, is a right which is available and given to individuals for their creativity, for their innovations, for their creations, and it will be for a particular period of time. Okay, it's not forever. And they are owners. The people who are creators are basically the owners. They are the inventors and the creators. And it could be in the area of literature, so then it becomes a copyright. Invention of a product, then it becomes a patent. Could be for music, painting, costume designing, so many things, as I already explained. And the owner gets a complete right over anybody against the use of this, and for a limited period, of course. And then they all can go into a litigation. It can be a criminal offense if you copy that without their permission. So I'll touch upon this trade secret and plant breeders right as we go further. Now here in the next slide, you can see this again is a paper clipping. So way back in 2014. Right now, all of us are aware that India has been heavily promoting the Make in India initiative and motivating youngsters, individuals to come up and export to the world instead of importing. So this is basically the focus that India is making. And obviously, when you're coming up with a new product, obviously some new innovations and creations will just definitely come up. And this needs to ensure that a proper IPR becomes necessary. So this newspaper clipping by former Commerce and Industry Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. She was the minister then. Right now, she's the finance minister. So she had mentioned that there was need for a comprehensive IPR policy because we didn't have a good one then. I understand that presently there is some amendments required in the IPR policy, and it is ready to go. Now, yeah, I was talking about trade secrets. Now, these are, when you say trade secret, the word itself tells us that it's basically some kind of a business secret. So the business secrets, like for example, pan parag, that mixture, whatever they do, it's a trade secret which is not shelled out to anyone. They are trade secrets for hair oils, for some Ayurvedic products, and some medicines, and so many things, some dishes created in some hotels, all these. So all these are kept as closely guarded secret, and therefore there is no need actually to file an IPR. Okay, the formula, it'll be interesting for me to share that the formula of Coke, what most of us, especially the youngsters, like to drink. The formula of Coke was invented in somewhere in 1886, and it was used as actually as a loan collateral. They wanted a loan because the business was going down, and they used this formula to get a loan. So that is how expensive or how valuable it is. So they took a loan collateral between 1919 to 1925. For these 5 years, they took a loan, and now, of course, the loan is cleared, and presently, yeah, I understand that it is kept in a safe from 1995 till date. That is 26th April 2022. Today, it is still in a safe in Atlanta. Another interesting fact is KFC, that is Kentucky Fried Chicken. The original recipe was was prepared in 1940, and the handwritten recipe has been locked in a safe. And I understand that there are only two executors who have full access to the recipe. So all these people, these are called as trade secrets. So it's not that they have any IPR there, but they can safeguard it through some insurance or something like that, But it is also mentioned as part of the IPR, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. So when an organization owning an intellectual property does not disclose to anyone and keeps it as a closely guarded secret to promote business interests, it's for an unlimited duration. It will be, sometimes some secrets are run in the family and they don't share it at all. So therefore, there's no need to file an IPR. But since it is mentioned in the Act, I just mentioned it to you. I shared it with you. And the next one I mentioned was the plant breeder's right. It's in short, it is called as PBR. This is the right to breed and regulate production and market farmers' variety for a period of 15 to 20 years. So that means it's promoting farmers to come up with new forms of crops and variety of plants, vegetables, fruits, etc. So I think many of you must be aware of this, that scientists across the globe are working on enhancing the nutrition value of rice, which is considered the staple diet in many countries across the world, especially the third world countries. Rice is the staple diet. So second being wheat. So rice is considered to have more of carbohydrates, right? And therefore, just having rice is not going to contribute or give us the nutrition that is required. So these scientists are coming up with a new variety, working towards that, coming up with a new variety where the extra nutrients can be added. And so when an individual has only, even if he's able to only get access to plain rice and consume it, he's still getting the nutrients. Okay, so then that becomes a IPR. However, this we should be able to understand the difference between coming up with a new variety and something which has to be patented. Of course, we need not bother about that at the moment, because we are just looking at an overview of what IPR and what are the I'm trying to cover as much as possible as under an umbrella. See, the advantages are it is an incentive to the breeders. That is, whether it is an animal, whether it is a plant, a variety, a tree, that's a fruit or vegetable, whatever. And there's a fast development of seed industry. Maybe the quality also will improve. All these things. Whereas the disadvantage could be maybe exploitation, because maybe a farmer, he may not be educated like one of among us, like we have done our post graduation or whatever, but whereas that person may be not even gone to school, but he will have rich knowledge in his field, in his area as a farmer. He'll be knowing about each and every plant. He'll know how to grow that, and he may come up with some new variety. When he comes to um, uh, you know comes up with a good variety, a business minded person might exploit him. He may not know the value of that invention, and he may get exploited. That could be one of the disadvantages. The others could be, see, there are some people who are coming up. What I've read is they come up with some new variety, but the seeds of from that particular fruit or vegetable cannot be regrown. It does not reproduce. So this is also, these are all disadvantages. Okay, then I go to the next slide. This is what I was telling you about plant breeders, right? Okay, it's just a slide, so I just and now coming to the things that we are all day to day we face, and what we end up doing. So these are kind of giving us some hashtags for us to keep in mind. The one is photocopy rights. So we all share. See, I have taken this photo from the internet, and you can see that I have given credit from where I have taken it. So that is very important. Now I'll just going further. See, we all share photos indiscriminately. Every time we get a lot of photos, images on our WhatsApp or our Facebook handle. And what we do is, if it's a good photo, we immediately start sharing it indiscriminately with all our friends and groups and all that. But as per the IPR, we cannot download a photograph and use it, even if it's for personal purpose, like using it on our personal homepage. We are not making, even if you're not using it for some commercial purpose or making profit out of it, but under IPR, it amounts to infringement of rights. So we have, then you may say, then what do we do? How do we teach? How do we go about things when we are not creative as such? So we have something called as a Creative Commons license, which are public licenses. These are available. I'm just putting it in brief for journal articles, for images, photographs, etc. So you can use such, they are free downloadable images and all that you can easily take, and then you can share. That's not a problem. But if it is copyrighted, you cannot do that. Okay, so here the images are free to use, but you need to give credit for the sharing to the person who to the who this photo, who has taken out that photograph, or who has written that article or journal or whatever. The next one is duration of a copyright, that you can see. It's more like an educative one. That's the reason I put it up. So this is the exclusive right of the author for a certain period of time only. But the copyright protection of the work that the person has done, maybe musical or literary work or something, it will extend to 50 years from the end of the year in which the author dies. So it can be considered like a property, and it can be inherited by the heirs. You can give it to your children, grandchildren, and all that. And this is something we are very familiar. All of us would have observed. So every book will have a copyright infringement policy printed on the first page itself. All of you must have seen that. Usually for education purpose, they don't take it very seriously unless and until it's being used for commercial purpose. Like if I take Philip Kotler's book, and then I print it in a different format, and then I put my name and I sell it, it's for commercial purpose, then it is infringement of right. But if I take a bit and pieces of what is required for the students and I share it with them, but then I tell them that I've taken it from Philip Kotler's textbook, then it is not considered to be, I'm not using it for commercial purpose, then it is okay. But still the acknowledgement needs to be given. So using part of the material for education purpose is all right, but should not be used for commercial purpose. So one example is that movie CD racket, that's similar to this. And the next one, yeah, understanding patenting. So patenting or invention. So when you go and patent your invention, you have to give full details. You can't hide. You have to give them details. Patent is for a product, right? So you have to give them details as to how you came about it, what are the products you use, what are the, how is the concept, what makes the concept work, and how is it beneficial, all these details. So it is not just getting a right, you'll also have to share how it has been done. In fact, you'll have to, we don't have time, in this 1 hour, it's not possible for me to share how you can file a patent and all that. But briefly stating, you will have to give all details to them. and they will be informing the public, and only when they do not get any response, like a negative response from people saying that it has been stolen from us or whatever, only after that the patent right is given to you. And but later on, even if somebody comes to know and if they file a case, it can be removed. So these are things. So one thing about patent is, I mean, through this slide, that you will have to give them all details of how you did it, how you created it, and so on. Okay, you can't keep it as a secret. Yeah, this is another thing that we do. This is called as bootleg. So bootleg is unauthorizedly videographing an event and then transmitting it and sharing it. So the recent example I can give you is, usually celebrities do that when they have a function or a party. They make the guests sign an agreement that they will not take photographs of the function or party and share it outside. A recent one is the Ranveer Kapoor and Alia Bhatt's wedding, which is being highlighted everywhere. Till last week, it was there on all the headlines. So their wedding, they had an agreement like that, along with the guests that they had invited, and they had even blocked the mobile cameras of all the guests who were entering into that venue, the wedding venue, and only select pictures were shared to the public. They selected the pictures and only those pictures. So it was not an indiscriminate sharing of pictures. So you can see. You will not know who are the guests except for the family pictures. They have not shown you all the guests who were invited. Okay, so yeah, now this is this image is telling us that if there is no IPR in place, creativity will die. That means if there is no IPR, nobody will want to come up with any creative ideas, because if I come up with a creative idea, somebody else will rob it, and somebody else gets the credit. Maybe if I'm strong enough, I can fight for it, but if there's a stronger person, he can easily take it away from me, so that will deter. So that's the reason they say there was no IPR policy earlier, but now things are falling in place, and therefore individuals feel safe with innovations and creations. They understand that their innovations will bring them financial benefits as well as fame. So presently, that is it. And when you go for, yeah, innovation benefits of IPR, I think I did not tell you. It helps to motivate people to become creative and come out with new inventions. It helps business become unique, because we find these things coming up on news channels, even on the internet, that somebody came up with some new idea, some new hair oil. Recently, I saw a 70-year-old man. He heard that his daughter was having a terrible loss of hair fall. She had a lot of problem in that. So he since he was retired, he just came up with some, he thought of what his mother and all was doing many years ago. So he brought in some these jadi booties, and he started coming up with a new hair oil. His daughter found it useful. He says he tried it on himself, and he tried it on his wife and then his daughter, and since it was good, now he's making so many lakhs of rupees by selling that. I read it somewhere in the internet. So you find similar stories. Somebody has come up with a terrace garden, and they're growing so many vegetables, and so on and so forth. So IPR helps in motivating people to become creative and come up with new inventions. It also helps this export business, where the product can be made outside the place of origin. Like for example, like Khadi products, developed honey, developed medicines. It helps in export business. And we need to remember that we need to first create a trademark and then register the trademark. So that is another important aspect. So trademark is basically for identification purposes. And yeah, this, I think each and every one of us know and love these characters. These are the famous Walt Disney characters. These are all registered. So similarly, other famous cartoon characters as well. So doesn't mean that if it is cartoon character something, it is taken lightly. No, that's also a big, huge business there. And the next slide. Yeah, this is a brief history of IPR. I think this is not necessary, as you can easily find it on the internet. Yeah. This cartoon very wittily mentions that IPR can also be misused. See, in this cartoon, you can see one penguin telling the other, the funny walk and the tuxedo feathers are my intellectual property and trademark. If you want to look or act like me, you have to pay me $1 million. It's just a, a very witty way of saying so. So you cannot have an IPR that way. All the penguins look same. Naturally they are the same. So if you cannot come up with some, so you have to prove that you're different. That is the meaning of this. So and you can also see that I have retained the acknowledgement on the cartoon, copyright 2002 by Randy Glassburgen. I've not changed that. You can see that name there. And the next is intellectual property crime. When I say crime, it means anything that infringes on anybody's right is a crime. So any breach of intellectual property is a crime. If it is industrial property, then if you're manufacturing something or selling something in the name of a particular, using a particular, brand name or company's logo or something like that, in such a case, it is infringement of industrial property rights. And if it is copyright, you understand it could be music, design, distribution of materials, all that. So I just quick roundup of what we shared in this session. You can see this trade secrets. It protects secret information, new inventions like Coke formula, etc. Trademarks protects brands, Apple for cell phones. Copyrights protects work for authorship, like books, movies, drawings, etc. Could be even jewelry designs and all that. And patents protects functions or ornamental features like swipe features of iPhone design, etc. This again is not mine. It's a slide that I took from the internet because I found it was very clearly articulating everything. I understand there's another session following this, and I trust I have been able to cover the required information in the given time, though we had initial glitches in the technical glitches earlier on. I think we can go to the question answer section now. Hello, any questions? I know I'm open for questions now. Hello? Any questions? Okay, Cynthia Milton, she mentions I'm developing a mobile learning application. Does it need patent or copyright? Learning application. So when you say a learning application, it's obviously a copyright. If it's a product, it becomes a patent. It's not a product, right? It's an application. I hope I answered your question. Any other questions? Oh, the cost. It depends on your area where, see, there's a jurisdiction for applying for the patent or copyright. It's the same office. You will have to show your, it's not fixed for each product. I mean, generally like a general cost. They will look into your, your creativity, and based on its importance to society, and how it is going to be beneficial. They will check all that, and only then they will decide on the cost. But of course, minimal, the application costs and all will always be there, and then you will be informed of that. There is no fixed cost as such for generally for all products. Yeah. Next is, in what way an individual, that is country, say for example India, and the international patents differ? Okay, that's a nice question. See, it is almost similar. There's no much difference, because now an Indian can be somewhere. Usually, jurisdiction is taken into consideration. That is where you are filing the patent. And for some things, see, in initially India did not have a proper patent, IPR in place. And the reason why I gave you that slide where the commerce minister, then commerce minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman's clip where I showed you. So that happened because an American restaurant was trying to take patent for basmati rice, and basmati rice is not grown anywhere else other than Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, that belt. Okay, so that is when we became alert. And then similarly with turmeric, they were taking a patent for that. So then we come up with our own rights. And now, of course, India is awakening to all such things, and trying to put things in perspective. Similarly, each other country also are coming up with their um, taking their rights for what they have in their particular country, or maybe place of origin. If supposing you discover something, you take some goods from, you import certain things from abroad, and then you manufacture some product in India, you will be registering it in India as per the rules and regulations there. But usually it is almost similar across. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. Oh, thank you, Mr. Arun. Any other questions? Yes, over to you, Ms. Lakshmi.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, one session, ma'am.
Hello?
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please tell me.
Yes, ma'am. On behalf of IOT Academy, I thank Dr. Vasanthi for the time and effort you took to share your knowledge with us, ma'am. I also extend my special gratitude to her for presenting very clear and informative session and also briefing us about all the procedures. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. And I also thank you for the opportunity provided.
Yeah, ma'am. Hope to see you in more sessions. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Now I welcome Dr. Madhavi Srifadi to our FTP to share her thoughts. She is working as an assistant professor and mentor in Sheshatri Rao Gudlavelluru Engineering College, Andhra Pradesh. She has done her PhD in marketing from Acharya Nagarjuna University and cleared APSIT in management. She acted as a principal investigator for minor research project funded by UGC. She is also a reviewer for International Journal for Bank Marketing and acted as reviewer for IRTM 2021. She has 12 years of teaching experience. She authored 21 research articles in various international and national journals, presented papers in conferences. She is a member of Hyderabad Management Association and the Indian Academic Researchers Association, delivered various lectures on consumer rights and entrepreneurship, organized a number of management meets for MBA graduates. With this small introduction, I invite Dr. Madhavi Srifadi to take over the session. Ma'am, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Mike, for the great introduction. I feel I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk on entrepreneurship and startups today. Hope I'm audible to everyone. Hello, I'm audible. Madam, can you please respond? Yes. Thank you, Arun. And today we are going to talk on entrepreneurship and startup. Before going to discuss about this, I would like to post a link in the chat box. I want everybody to respond on this. This is just like a refresh from the earlier session so that we have a minimum time. I've posted a link in the chat box. I want everybody, we have 35 members in the session. I want everybody to respond on this. I request every participant to check the link in the chat box. They click on the link and post your response over there. Yes, I started receiving the responses. Yes, some best knowledge. Okay, let me share the screen for you so that you too will be able to see the screen. So these are the responses. So only 3 have responded. Satisfied, fine, good, nice, excellent session. I haven't started delivering the lecture. So only 4 have responded out of 35. Can we wait a few more seconds for this? Only 4 members have responded. Five members. Most members have typed good. They are feeling good today, and that's why it is prominently appearing. So it means only 5 members are active in the session. The 6, yeah, they started receiving responses. Okay, then, good enough. Coming back to our session, this is our topic today. I want to start my session with a question, simple question. Have you ever felt at least once in your life that you want to be entrepreneur? May I receive answers in the chat box? Have you ever felt at least once in your life that you want to be an entrepreneur? Yes or no? Yes, very good. If yes, this session is for you. So very good. Thank you, Arun and Nayanika and Suganya for your responses. Without much delay, we are going to dig into the topic. So what is entrepreneurship now? Hope my screen is visible. Right? So what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship, in the sense, It is a process of discovering new combination of resources. So entrepreneurship to me means it is just like searching for opportunities. You take an idea and turning this idea into reality, and that's more than enough to be an entrepreneur. You can see the future through your idea, and you can make the future. You believe you can make the future through your idea. That's more than enough to be an entrepreneur. So who is an entrepreneur? He is the one who create, launch, and organize and manage new business and take the risk of a business ownership. So he is the one who is very passionate to lead the business, who is willing to take the risk, who is willing to take the challenges in the business world, who is able to manage the fluctuations in the business scenario. So out of all this, only 33% of all new businesses fail within 2 years. So we may have a good idea and we have a good team to work with us and we have a solid plan to work. We have set many goals and we have a framework and strategies. Even though unless until we work very hard, we are not flexible enough to change our goals and the strategies in line with the external environment. Many businesses fail. So in line to it, 33% of all new businesses fail within 2 years and 50% fail within 4 years. Within 4 years. These failures related to business failure, in a sense, the entire idea might fail. And the financial losses, the amount you invested on infrastructure and salaries and maintenance and product development. So once the business got failed, so we face, being an entrepreneur, we face the financial loss of employment, and the loss of time, loss of efforts, loss of know-how, everything, loss of savings, loss of investment. So unless until we have a good idea which have a high potential to grow, we may not succeed in the marketplace. And there are many reasons for entrepreneurs to start a business. Out of all those, the 5 common reasons why entrepreneurs start their own business. The first one is money. So any business, whether it is a manufacturing, service, or a stockbroking, any kind of a business, their main motto is to earn or maximize the profit. The second one is the flexibility of being your own boss. So during lockdown, recently the world hit by the COVID pandemic, right? So during the lockdown, everybody started working from home. And in this lockdown, many got used to upskill themselves and they got habituated to work in flexible hours. Right? So in US, we have seen a great recognition, a great resignation. So great resignation in the sense they wanted the people got habituated to work at working at home, and they want to start a business. They have many of them have started their own businesses. They want to be their own boss, and rather than running behind somebody's dream. And the third one is control over decision making. So we can control our decisions. Usually, being an entrepreneur, we need to take many decisions on a day-to-day basis. It may be related to the product development, or related to the R&D research and development, or related to the purchasing of the raw material, related to the employees or infrastructure. So there are many decisions. Being an entrepreneur, we have to handle many decisions. So we have control of that. And the fourth one is pick the team with whom you want to work. So entrepreneur can pick the team, can select the like-minded people who exactly think just like him or her, and that they can have a positive environment in the business office, so that they can lead the business, they can rule the business. one is legacy. We can take the elder generation steps, or we can leave our footprints for the next younger generations. So these are the top 5 most common reasons for the entrepreneurs to start their own business. And usually, employees get paid for their goals. So there is a much difference between employees and entrepreneurs. So employees usually get paid for their roles, be it assistant manager, general manager, managing director. They get paid for their roles, whereas an entrepreneur get paid for results, get paid for investment, get paid for outcome. He or she being an entrepreneur, they wait for the outcome which generates him lump sum of the revenues. And whereas employees are just following the rules made by the entrepreneurs, whereas entrepreneurs create them or break the rules. They change the game. They create a path for the followers. They create a new direction, new path for the followers. And even though entrepreneurs or employees, these two have both advantages and disadvantages. And employees or specialists, whereas entrepreneurs are generalists. Employees, we have a specialist in our business house, in our business, or in our office, in our company. So we have a specific people appointed for human resources who look after all the employees. We have a specific people for handling the marketing activities. We have a specific people for finance related activities. So employees are specialists, whereas entrepreneurs are generalists. These are the people who have to handle all these HR, marketing, and finance, and so on. Everything has to be handled by entrepreneur. These are the major differences between employees and entrepreneur. And this is the demographic status of India related to startup. India is the youngest startup nation in the world. So 72% of the startup founders are less than 35 years old, and these 35% of them are engineering graduates. Only 9% are women. So even though this percentage, women entrepreneurs percentage is less comparatively, but there is a remarkable growth in women entrepreneurs since last decades. So this image shows, this particular slide shows the demographic status of startup founders in India. And the next, the major differences between a startup and business. So we usually see the business, entrepreneurship, and the startups one and the same. We feel that they are one and the same, but there is a little difference between business and the startup. Business, in the sense, this is just like any other firm, a company, or a mill, or a factory. If I want to establish a restaurant, that is nowhere different from the other restaurants. That is called the business, and my main motto behind establishing this business is to maximize the profit or the earn the profit. And whereas a startup is, I should have an innovative idea, and that should be unique from the different. That should be unique and different from the others in the market. So businesses usually work or focuses to earn a profit, whereas the startups majorly focuses on a rapid growth, and then they focus on the profit. So what is a startup then? So in order to be recognized as a startup, we must be registered, our company must be registered as a startup. That is the first thing. The second thing is, its turnover should not be cross over 25 crores in a financial year. So if it crosses 25 crores in a particular financial year, our company may not be recognized as a startup thereafter. So once we got registered under Companies Act as a startup, that status will be stays for 7 years. And in case of a biotechnology sector, the startup status stay for 10 years. So within these 7 years, if in any of the financial year, if our turnover crossed 25 crores, startup status will be cancelled. We will be recognized as just a company. That is a major difference between startup and a business. So business is just like any other business. I may establish a textile showroom or a cloth showroom or a shoe showroom, shoe mart, or otherwise a restaurant, and so on. But whereas coming to the startup, we need to be unique. We need to be different from the other competitors in the market. We should be unique, and we should always plan for the product development every day. That is a major difference between startup and a business. Today, because of this COVID-19, we have seen a massive growth in the startup founders and the entrepreneurs in India. So here we have Tilak Mehta. He is the youngest startup founder in India. So he is just 14 years old, and his company, he is the CEO of Packers and Parcels. He started his company in 2018. He started an app-based courier services. App-based courier services. So this particular app is confined only to the Mumbai region, and he collaborated with the Mumbai Dabbawalas to deliver the courier services on the same day. On the same day. So he collaborated with these Mumbai Dabbawalas so that they deliver the parcels, they deliver the food, they deliver the dabbas to all the officers from the homes to the offices. As the same, he came up with an idea that he offered the same day pickup and deliver services through these Mumbai Dabbawalas, and he can start even a simple things. He can deliver even a simple things from the pen or important paperwork and so on. So we can say that from this simple example, we can say that the youth of today is the future of tomorrow. Age is not a limiting factor to start up, to establish a business. So give a life to your ideas, life to your dreams. So in order to give a life to your ideas, you should have a great idea that differs you from the others. Here is a slide which represents the top 10 Indian startups 2020. To give you a brief overview of the top 10 Indian startups in 2020, here is a synthesizing image that regrouping the information of top 10 in India. So you can check the companies on the left hand side and the funding on the right hand side and the industry for which they belong to in the middle. So for example, take the first one, that is 197, which is called as a Paytm, relates to the commerce and the shopping industry for the funding $4.4 billion. Second one is Ola Cabs in the transportation industry, funding $3.8 billion. And Voyo, travel and the tourism, and so on. These are the top 10 startups: Paytm, Ola Cabs, Oyo, Renew Power, Swiggy, Byju's, and so on. And even though we have a number of startups, tens, hundreds, and the thousands of startups in India, the very few startups have achieved unicorn status. Unicorn status. What is this unicorn status? So unicorn status is a business term. Unicorn is a business term which is used to define a startup with a valuation over $1 billion. $1 billion. So usually, time taken to achieve this unicorn status has been decreasing every year. In 80s, reaching the unicorn status or achieving a unicorn status has been taken many years or a number of decades. But today, it is time taken to achieve this unicorn status has been decreasing every year. This status, the unicorn startup in India, have been multiplied at breakneck step in India. So out of all the, we have in India, we have 44 unicorn startups, and out of these 44, the 3 is startups like Make My Trip, Just Dial, and Naukri.com are publicly listed, whereas a Flipkart is the one that has been acquired. This is about the unicorn. And we have a number of startups, and the 44 startups have achieved the unicorn status. So here the question is, why only such companies achieve unicorn status? Unicorn status. So because here we are seeing the number of the companies here like Zerodha, Unacademy, Postman, to the glance, right? So these are the $1 billion. So unicorn status in the sense startups with a valuation over $1 billion, $1 billion dollar. So for example, during lockdown, strict COVID-19 regulations are applied in the society, and then the schools, educational institutions, colleges, coaching institutions were shut indefinitely. But this led to the increase in online learning. So that increases the significance of an academy exponentially in the market. Exponentially in the market. So this gives rise to the popularity of this an academy, so that and from the students who sought to appear for the competitive examinations to people working from the home who use it to upskill themselves, an academy has something for everybody. So these are the companies, these companies, the companies or the startups which achieve the unicorn status. These companies have studied the societal problems in the lockdown, and they defeated all those problems. They come up with the solutions in the lockdown. That's why they have reached the unicorn status. And this is an initiative. Startup India is an initiative by Government of India, and to develop an ecosystem to promote the entrepreneurship. This scheme was launched by Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi and in 2015, and the same was inaugurated by then Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. There's a Startup India scheme was launched with an objective to encourage innovation and entrepreneurship. According to the statistics, India has more than 5,000 startups have been recognized till today. So that's a massive achievement, right? So how to establish a startup? How to establish a startup? So what do you know about the startup? As I earlier discussed about the startup, like it must be registered as a company, and so that the company will be recognized as a startup for 7 years, and if it is a biotechnological sector, that is for 10 years. And the second thing is its turnover should not cross 25 crores in a financial year for 7 years or for 10 years. And the third thing is the startup should have an innovative ideas or innovative product, or that should be unique or different from the others in the market. So once we have established our company, we have to register our company with the registrar of companies. Once we have a registrar, once we have registered under the Companies Act 2013 with the registrar of companies, then the first step is we have to incorporating our business. So incorporating your business in the sense, we have to provide all the details, what kind of a business we are going to establish, and when it is going to be coming to life, and what kind of a product or a service, I mean to say nature of the product or service we are going to handle, and what are our goals, and for what purpose we are existing, and what is our willingness to carry out this startup. So that once the registrar of a company is satisfied with the details we have put in the application form, they are going to issue certificate of incorporation. That is the first step in incorporating our business. The second step is once we had registered with the registrar of the companies, then we have to register our startup on the government website, that is Startup India portal. Startup India portal. The procedure goes like this. So once we have created our account under Startup India portal, and then we have to select our country, that is the country which we belong to. And the next step, once we have selected our country, then we have to select the startup. To be recognized our company as a startup, we have to select the startup. And after selecting the startup, we have to provide the certain basic information about our company. What is the display name and the email, contact address, state which we belong to, city, startup name, industry, whether it is textile or a manufacturing or a service or sector and services, and the URL of our company website and so on. So the basic information related to our startup need to be provided. Once it has been uploaded, then it asks for the fourth step, that is about the company details. We have to upload our logo. So businesses usually have a logo. So the trademark is necessary. In order to build up your branding, trademark is essential. So that trademark need to be uploaded here, and website and the app link. If we have any apps or the concern link will be posted here, and so on. And the basic, some more basic information need to be posted here. And if we are starting a new business, definitely we will have a team. So what are their major roles? So we need to provide all the team, all the members in the team, their names and their roles and their photos and their acceptance, their mobile numbers, their contact details. And at the last, whether you want to share the business documents with the portal or not. And you can choose, if you like to share your business documents with the government, you can share. If not, you can simply select no. And at the last, you can choose to whom you want to connect with. Like you want to connect with the investors or incubators or other startups, mentors, accelerators. So to whom you want to connect with. So after reading all the terms and the conditions specified by the Government of India and Startup India portal, you can choose, you can tick I agree to the terms and condition, and you can save the profile. If so, we are done with the second step. In the sense, we got, once we have saved our profile in Startup India portal, we got registered our company as a startup. So, and the third step is we have to upload the required basic business documents in a specific PDF format. And the next thing is availing the tax benefits. Usually, startups are exempted from the tax. So in order to avail these tax benefits, we need to get a certificate from the interministerial board. So to avail all these tax benefits, that certificate is mandatory. And then self-certification. So we need to certify that all the legal certifications are full, documented and submitted to the registrar. Then if he is satisfied, if they are satisfied with the information you furnish, then they are going to issue a recognition number, which is called as certificate of recognition. Then your company will be recognized as startup. Your company will be recognized as a startup. If any of the document found forged, then you will be penalized. You will be fined. So that fine will be 50% of paid up capital or 25,000 rupees, whichever is higher. So this is the process in order to recognize our company as a startup. What are the basic documents and the certificates that are required to be furnished? So to complete the process of registering our company as a startup, we need 3 documents and the certificates. One is Incorporation Certificate. So Incorporation Certificate, in the sense, this is just like a date of birth certificate for the company or our startup. So when it is going to be launched, what is the address and at which it is going to be registered, and what kind of nature of a product they are going to handle, and so on. Brief description about your offering and how it is different from others. How it is different from others. So as it is a startup, we need to mention what kind of innovative product we are handling, we are offering to the society, how different it is from the existing competitors, and so on. And the third one is a letter of recommendation or support. A letter of recommendation or support in the sense we just need a letter of recommendation from an incubator which is funded by either by central or state government. These three documents or the certificates are necessary to recognize our company as a startup. And this is the most important slide for any kind of a startup funding in India. So even though we have a great idea, we have set our goals and we have formulated strategies, there is one thing that is missing, that is only about the funding. Unless until we are funded by somebody else or we do not have sufficient funds to handle our business, we may not be successful in the market. So there are many funding options in India, out of which the first one is a self-funding. Self-funding in the sense, and this is just like you can ask your family or friends or neighbors or anybody else, because we can they are flexible enough with the interest rates and repayment periods. This kind of funding is considered when when the capital is not so high. That is a self-funding. And this funding option is a better option, considered as a better option, because as ours is a first-time entrepreneurship, we get or we face problems or troubles getting finance from the other sources. So when the capital is not so high, self-funding is the best option. And the next one is crowdfunding. This kind of resourcing is getting immense popularity these days. You can take or contribute loan from more than one person. So in order to crowdfund it for our startup, you need to put your business details in the website, in the consent, in the crowdfunding platforms like Keto or Nilap and Kickstarter. There are many crowdfunding platforms in India. So you can put your business details on that. Anybody can read them, and if anyone liked your business idea, they can give you a loan. They can fund your project. That is a crowdfunding. So through this crowdfunding, you not only procure the finance, but also you can market your product as well. That is importance of a crowdfunding. And the next one is angel investment or angel investors. So who are these angel investors? Angel investors are the people who have a surplus amount of money and are interested to invest in some kind of a business. So usually they have a group of a network to screen your business proposals. If they are satisfied with your business proposal, they can fund your project, fund your startup. So as they are providing sufficient funds to business, they have a right to monitor, mentor, and offer advice when they feel they need to. So many companies like Yahoo and Google, they were funded through this angel investment in their initial days. And next one is venture capital. And this is a most important factor, important option in order to apply the funding. So when the capital is very huge, and these venture capitalists see there is a huge potential for the growth, then they are going to give a capital. They are going to fund for your startup. They usually screen, just like angel investors, they usually screen the business proposal before they are putting their money in on your startup. So They are going to mentor and monitor and advise, and they check the status of a company at every stage, during the product development, during the launching, and during the marketing, during increasing the customer base, and at every stage they are going to mentor and guide your startup. And the next one is business incubators and accelerators. Business incubators and accelerators. So these incubators, as ours is a first-time entrepreneur, first-time startup, and ours is a very small business, these business incubators are the best one, as they provide the training and the tools which are required for the startup, which are required for the new business ventures. What is the most thing they require from you is time commitment. Commitment. You should tell them at what you are going to do in the 6 months, and in the next year, and in the next couple of years, and so on. And next one is the bank loans. Whenever we had a thought of funding for our startup, we immediately remember about bank. So bank, in the sense, we have to present our business proposal to the managers. Once they are satisfied, we can avail the loans. Usually, bank can offer the two kinds of loans. One is working capital loan, and the second one is banking loan. So working capital loan, in the sense, as you all know, working capital in the sense circulating capital. So this working capital loan is available to meet the day-to-day operations of the business. Whereas the next one, banking loan, is to set up business loan, to set up or to establish the infrastructure. And the next one is NBFCs. NBFCs, in the sense, non-banking finance corporations. Non-banking finance corporation, in the sense, so if you fail to avail the loan from the banks, then you can go to non-banking financial corporations. These are the legal organizations which provide the banking services but not registered as a banks. So you can approach when you are unable to avail the loans from the regular banks, then you can go to these NBFCs and you can avail the loan with their lower rates of interest, and the application process is also very easy here. And the next one is the government programs. So government programs, in the sense, so in India, on the central level, we have many programs that supports, encourage, and motivate the startups. Right? So out of which the Pradhan Mantri Micro Units Development and Refinancing Agency Limited, which in short called as Mudra Scheme. So under this Mudra loan or Mudra scheme, we can raise capital till 10 lakhs. We can raise capital at 10 lakhs, and that is extended if they are satisfied too. So these are the different startup fundings, and there are many boards which are available for in order to encourage women entrepreneurs. We have ELIP and so in Andhra Pradesh and so on, and we have a state-wise. We have a state-wise scheme. So in case of Maharashtra, we have a Maharashtra Center of Entrepreneurship that supports support and fund these startups, new business ventures. And in case of Rajasthan, we have a Rajasthan Startups Unit that encourages the new entrepreneurs. Likewise, in case of Kerala, we have a Kerala Institute of Entrepreneurship Board. So there are state-wise programs are also available in India. Right? So this is all about the funding. Startup funding stages. Startup funding stages. So let me check. Somebody has posted something in the chat box. Okay, nothing is there. So startup funding stages. So there are a number of stages. When we have an idea, which is called as a pre-seed, and when this idea is converting into the minimum viable product, that is a seed, and then Series A, Series B, Series C, and Series D, and so on. So pre-seed, in the sense, just like having a simple idea to develop a product, which is different from the others. So, and many of the entrepreneurs or the startup founders may not consider this pre-seed as a part of the seed funding. What is this seed funding actually? Seed funding in the sense, this is officially first round in acquiring the fund from the investors, be it angel investors or venture capitalists or any kind of a board or anything else, right? So this under this pre-seed round, this is just like we just have a simple mere idea, which is different from the others. So we're still working on this idea to convert into the a particular product or the service. So here employees salaries, employee salaries or infrastructure facilities and many more things, purchasing of the materials and operating and the maintenance of the materials, all these expenses fall before we have a product ready for sale. So the pre-seed round in the sense the initial stage involves much money rather than the rest of the stages, and this is the basic step for the basic foremost step for the entire business. And in case of a seed, this is just like growing a tree, as the name is a seed here. So investors provide investors fund your project, fund your business. And here the business owners and the startup founders are nurturing this growing tree into a healthy tree. So, and once this stage has been crossed, then the business can be moved to the next stage, that is the Series A and Series B, Series C and Series D and so on. So you can look at the chart here, table here. Under the pre-seed stage, the funding from $50K to the $250K can be generated. So in order to develop a new product idea, we can be funded. We can be funded till $250K. And in case of a seed stage, in the sense we have the product here. We are going to find out our niche. We are going to find out the target group. So the valuation of the company till $15 million. So the major investors here are angel investors and some venture capitalists. And once this stage has been crossed, our business, and we are entering into the Series A, where we require lump sum amount, that is here the business model can be funded in between $2 million to the $15 million. The majorly this huge amount is provided by the venture capitalist. And this is the startup life cycle, and we can see it here. The early stages, that is the pre-seed and the seed, and the rest of the Series A, B, and so on. These are the growth of the later stages. Under the pre-seed and the seed stage, we can be funded by friends and family and many non-peoples, non-peoples. And whereas the Series A, when we have under the seed stage, we have a prototype and the minimum viable product. Under the Series A, even though we do not implement our business model, we should have a solid business plan. Business model has to be prepared here, and the investors are satisfied with our business model. They are going to fund till $2 million, $15 million, and then Series B. And the major focus when the businesses are reaching the Series B is to increase the consumer base. And then once it is crossed, once the Series B has been crossed, then IPO. That is getting the we can go for IPO. Our companies go for public. This is the startup life cycle. And what if I told startups, in order to start up, age is not a limiting factor. Age is not a limiting factor. We can start even just now. In the sense, now is the best time to start up. So meet Falguni Nair. Who is Falguni Nair? She is the CEO and the founder of Nika. She is one among India's most successful entrepreneurs. And she started her company when she was 50. She left her career of 20 years in order to launch her dream project, dream startup. So Nika went live in 2012. So in the initial days, they had many startup setbacks. In the sense, the company had faced many struggles, their entire website, website went crashing, and the moment they hit the 100 orders, the entire system would shut down. So after even though she didn't give up, so she had faced all the difficulties and overcome all the hurdles, and now recently this Nika went public in 2018. This IPO made Nair as the poster girl of Indian startup. So by looking at this, we can say that the age is not a limiting factor. We can start even at the very early age, just like Tilak Mehta, and we can start even at the older age, just like a Falguni Nair. These two set the best example for the age factor. And we have different kinds of entrepreneurship, like social entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, entrepreneurs, passionpreneurs, solopreneurs. So out of all this, the social entrepreneurship is the best and the foremost basic one. So social entrepreneurship, in a sense, we take a social idea, and we can use the ideals and the principles of entrepreneurship to make it profitable. We create and organize and manage this social idea of the social issue, and we turn this social idea into organize a business, and so that we can make a profit. So these social enterprises are not charities or are not welfare agencies. They are just like any other business, but they are working towards a social cause. These are established by the entrepreneurs with an emphasis on human values rather than just profit. That is about the social entrepreneurship. So here we can see the three case studies like a Grameen Bank and the Teach for Malaysia and the Hot Shot series and so on. So as we are running the short of a time, I'm speaking with the speed. So Grameen Bank, this was generally, what is the social problem here? There are poor rural people. This Grameen Bank is established in Bangladesh, which was launched or initiated by the Muhammad Yunus, and he got awarded for this Nobel Peace Award in 2006 also. So these poor rural people had no access to credit. So in such a case, he come up with a solution that the group-based credit has been given to the people. And as the same Teach for Malaysia. And this is, in Malaysia, child's origin determines the quality of education. The quality of education. So in order to clear this social problem, they enlist the freshers from the fresh graduates from the universities, and these fresh graduates are recruited for the public educational assistance, and they requested to teach for 2 years. So within 2 years, more than 100 high achievers recruited to teach in classrooms, and this entire program is funded by donations and the sponsorships. As the same, the hotspot series, just like Malaysian students do not have any easy source of information. So this is the problem. So in order to clear of this problem, they had come up with a solution that to write or to provide a book which gives a number of options, which let them know what are the options available for them after regarding the career development. So based on this idea, 120-page book has been completed, and that has been distributed to 10 secondary schools, and the same program was fully funded by the sponsorships. This is a social entrepreneurship. And we can simply say that India is a land of business. India is a land of business. So India is a home to 2 million social enterprises, and out of which 28% are agriculture social enterprises. These social enterprises usually create employment, skill development, and agriculture, innovation, and they are producing innovative products as well. So we can simply say that India is a land of business houses. So this is in Asia, comparatively, we have a massive who's I found her recently over the YouTube channel. So she started her YouTube channel, Kalagurakampa, in order to just share her experiences, dreams, and ideas over the channel. So after she winning the hearts from the audience and the subscribers, then she started off. She became an entrepreneur. So she didn't come up with a product into the market. She came up with the channel, and she just started her travel with sharing her experiences. And after winning the hearts of the people in the society, she had a thought of why don't she become an entrepreneur? So she had established her own startup with only the organic products. She started producing. So we can see here, this is on a website, her website. So this is a Kalaguru Kampa, and here we have all the products were listed here. And all these are the organic products like the cold pressed oils. We have a 13 varieties, essential oils, and the Faruki products, and so on. These are the very regular and the basic products, but the different thing here is the only organic product. So we have, even though we have a number of competitors in the market, she is different from the others. We can say that. So usually businesses or the startups come up with a product, but she came up with just an idea, and if once she got the hearts of the people with her idea, then she started delivering the products and services to the customers. And the next thing is, and this comes to the last slide, the Shark Tank India. Shark Tank India, in the sense, we have a Shark Tank in India. So this was operated by nearly 4 to 5 judges who are investors who provide the funding to our business proposals. You can see this particular business reality show in Sony TV, and even though and you can watch it on its player as well. And there we have to present our business proposal, and so that if they are impressed, if the judges were impressed with our business idea, our business will be funded. So, and here I have a link, but as we are running short of time, I'm not playing here. And you can see our Sony TV. This is a business reality show. So they screen our business proposal. What are the advantages and the disadvantages, how it is different from the others, and how much investment is needed. So even you can check this Shark Tank in India over the website on Wikipedia as well. There are a list of products and which kind of businesses are funded and so on. And the most important thing here is IPR India. Generally, we apply for patents and the copyrights, right? So whenever we have an innovative product, we can apply for patent, and we have any art-related works or literary works, we can apply for the copyrights. So some people may have a best idea, and they may get patented. They may get patent from the IP India government, but they may not have a sufficient money to commercialize their idea, to commercialize their patent. And there are certain people in the society, they do not have an idea, but they have a money, and they are interested to invest in a particular business. In such a case, if you belong to such criteria, if you have money and you do not have an idea, and here is an option, and you simply go to ipindia.gov.in, and there you can see the patented products in patent journal, and all these are the patented products. So you can see the journal number here and the date of publication. This specific patent was published on 22nd April, in the sense just 4 days ago. And date of availability, and this is the patent application. And the particular product got patent. So if Here we have many products, many patented products. In such a case, if you are interested to commercialize the patented product, you can approach the contact details in this patent applications, and you can commercialize their ideas by having a deal between them. Hope I'm clear. So this is a simple idea. And this is the end of my session. Hope I shared a bit knowledge too. I have added a bit knowledge to your knowledge. If you have any questions, you can go ahead.
The session is open for discussion. Please post your questions in the chat box. It will be answered by the expert.
Since there are no questions for me,
You can also directly interact with the resource person or post your questions in the chat box.
or else you can reach me on this. Here I'm leaving my email ID, and you can reach here too if you have any questions later.
Okay, shall we wind the session now?
Yeah, ma'am. Go ahead.
I thank, on behalf of IOT Academy, I thank Dr. Madhavi Srifadi for the informative and leading speech on this topic today. And your talk seemed to provide much needed help for all of us now. Thanks again for a wonderful presentation. I thank all the participants for your patience and attention throughout the presentation. Thank you all. Kindly submit the feedback form posted in the chat box, and your certificates will be delivered to you through mail tomorrow. Thank you for joining us today. See you next session. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.